Welcome to Hi, It's Me. Same jeans, different scenes. I'm Kim.
And I'm Lindsay.
And we're here to bring you our podcast about everything which makes us and our friends, family and special guests the same but wonderfully different.
We hope you love listening to our stories and insights into our experiences, from how we viewed growing up to the direction life has taken us in adulthood.
So, welcome back, episode 3. So, if I have to make a massive apology, essentially like a retraction of what I said last episode.
Controversial.
I know. So, an apology going out to Lily, who does pay her own rent and she does pay for her own shopping.
Yes.
So
she doesn't get any money.
She doesn't get any money from anyone for that, and so we can't take that off of the rent for the room that we're using to record the thing. So, okay, I know you're listening, Lily. So I'm very, 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 very sorry.
Yeah.
I take it all back.
She got a minute into the podcast last time and phoned me and said, I've got a complaint already.
Well,
I haven't even listened all the way through. I've just got a complaint and it's the first minute.
Well, at least she didn't write a comment on the pod saying,
true.
You're telling lies.
Giving us a 1 star.
Yeah. So sorry. Yeah. Sorry, Lily. And now that's done, I'm feeling pretty good for the week. How are you? How about you?
Yeah, I'm good. Showered. Washed my hair, especially for you today.
Showered and a hair wash.
I know.
Well, I feel honoured, so thank you.
Yes, you should. Yeah. I mean, I don't shower every day. Why would you need to shower every day? Dermatologist recommended that you shouldn't shower every day. In fact, I had a conversation with a family member who agreed with me that said you don't have to shower every day.
Okay. I mean, that's good. I'm actually quite happy to hear that, because I don't do that either.
Yeah. Piers thinks it's minging. Oh, I don't shower every day.
Okay.
But I have got backup of a parent that it's okay to not shower every day, and a backup from a dermatologist again, who I've read says you don't need to shower every day. Okay. It dries your skin out.
Yeah, it does. It washes off the natural oils,
exactly.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
And you especially don't. And actually, I think this was something, now thinking about it, Taylor Swift said about not washing her legs in the shower. And it was like a bit of a, oh my God, is she disgusting because she washes her legs?
Or
doesn't wash her legs, sorry. Yeah. And a dermatologist has said, no, actually, you don't need to wash your legs. I mean, if you've got mud on them, then yeah, obviously wash your legs. But again, it dries your skin out if you're like washing your legs every time you shower. Right. The water that flows down your body should wash your legs.
Okay.
You don't need to.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly don't agree with the everyday, but I do loo for my legs every day. I mean, that could be why they're scaly like a dragon.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe I need to stop doing that. Yeah. But I mean, it's okay. It's okay for men to say it's minging, because it's easy for them. They just jump in the shower. They've got one bottle, one and done. That's it.
Well, I know, one bottle. I've got a purple shampoo. I've got a clarifying shampoo.
Yeah.
And I've got a daily shampoo.
Yeah.
I've got my shower gel.
Yeah.
I've got my body scrub.
Yeah.
And he just jumps in the shower, one bottle, and it's done.
I mean, my bathroom actually looks like Boots.
Yeah.
Because there's so many different...
Yep.
But are we just getting sucked into some kind of like, commercial, you need all these different things?
Yeah. I mean, I was disgusted when Piers says he uses one bottle in the shower. I'm like, how can you do that?
Yeah.
And then he said...
Yeah.
He was giving Nelly Nelly was having a shower or a bath.
Yeah.
And he had washed her hair.
Yeah.
And I said, what did you wash her hair with? Well, I just used the shower gel.
No!
I was like, for God, fucking hell, why are you washing a girl's hair with shower gel?
And she's got curly hair.
Yes, you can't shampoo.
You can't.
She's the girl. He was like, well, I've been washing my hair with shower gel for 40 odd years. I mean, this is just normal. This is normal. This is what I do.
Yeah, that is the curse, isn't it? Men can just do anything, and normally their hair looks pretty amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, the morning routine is quite time consuming, though, isn't it? Like shower, wash, hair, shaving if you're bothering with shaving,
Yeah.
and then like a skin routine,
Yeah.
double cleanse,
Yeah.
tone, serum,
Yeah.
moisturize, sun cream in the summer.
Exactly.
It's endless.
Yeah. It's a massive ball ache. And that's why I don't shower every day. I wash I don't get me wrong. I wash my face. I wash my pits.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
do the essential areas.
Yeah.
And that takes long enough to wash your face. Yeah, like you say, tone it, serum, cleanse. Oh no, all of that takes such a long time. And I literally have to prioritise my time in the morning. So it's like, do I shower or do I eat breakfast?
Yeah.
And I'm a massive pig, so I have to have breakfast.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm a lazy sloth, so I can't get up 10 minutes earlier in the morning. I need
to have a shower.
Yes, I need that extra 10 minutes of sleep, which I would normally use on a shower.
Yeah.
Or at least 10 minutes.
That's true.
And it's just a ball ache. Logistics of it, of it all.
Mm.
Do I wash my hair today? No, because I'm going to exercise later. So why would I wash my hair? Because I'm going running.
Oh,
yeah. Not to the gym because I don't get that sweaty, but I'll wash it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Then tomorrow, I'm like, well, actually, I'm going out the next day. So if I wash it today, I can't wash it again tomorrow because, I'm going out.
Tomorrow never comes.
It's just that never-ending cycle.
The grind of picking your hair washing days.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And actually, if you're anything like me, my hair looks pretty shit the day I wash it. So I'm like, with curly hair, often it's like super fluffy on the day I wash it. So I'm like, well, I'm going out on the Thursday, so I need to wash my hair on the Wednesday.
Yeah.
But then, if I'm doing something else,
you can't exercise.
You can't exercise. You can't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, I say exercise. Back in the day when I used to do some exercise.
I mean, I think we've been both pretty inconsistent with our exercise, though, haven't we?
We used to love it, didn't we?
Yeah.
We used to do so much.
Yeah.
Like, we used to run.
Yeah.
We used to go to the gym 3 times a week.
Yeah.
We used to get in the car and drive to Didcot and go to the gym 3 times a week. We were in the gym on Boxing Day one year.
We were, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
it's
classes.
Yeah.
Or like on the machines.
Yeah.
And like running. I mean, I've done loads of things in the past. And I mean, I think there was a massive COVID influence on that because we were both running a lot. We were both training for that half marathon.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd got up to, I think it was like 11 miles before COVID. And and going to the gym regularly.
Yeah.
And I think COVID and lockdown happened. And I think some people went into like, oh, we're on lockdown, I've got loads of time to exercise and I'm going to just go for it. And for me, I just was like, meh. I don't have the motivation to do it. No. And, I'm like in this heightened state of, we're in lockdown.
Yeah. I have very like weird, not weird periods during the year where I'm like all hyper in on it. Like normally in January, and it's not like a New Year's resolution thing, but normally in January, I have this like hyperness all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And I tend to be really good between January and like April time.
Yeah.
Summer, I'm not too bad. As soon as September hits or October, clocks go back. It just does something weird to me.
Yeah.
Like I don't have the energy to do anything.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. I just can't get out of bed to exercise. In the summer, back in July, I was getting up 6, going to the gym, walking to the gym, doing an hour's workout, coming home.
Yeah.
All the motivation. And now I'm just like, I want to get into bed and go to sleep.
Yeah.
But I was listening to a podcast the other day, Ghost Huns, which I absolutely love. And one of the hosts on there was saying she'd gone to a yoga class. And the teacher was saying, basically, that as a human, we're the only species who don't hibernate.
Yeah, true.
And what we should really be doing
is hibernating.
Not literally like going to sleep in September and waking up again in the spring.
Oh,
but yeah, boo. But like when the clocks go back and the nights are longer, maybe going to sleep a bit earlier.
Yeah.
So using the dark times to sleep. So you get more sleep, so you're a bit more recharged during the day.
Yeah.
So that you've got that energy. But generally, when the weather is darker and colder, slow down a little bit.
That is interesting, because I suppose maybe that physiologically makes sense, but we I've got this thing that actually we should keep going, and maybe we should be listening to our bodies a bit more.
But
I mean, I do, because I get into bed at 6 o'clock sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm like, Nyla, let's go for a walk, because I want to get into bed.
Yeah. I just wish I had a little bit more energy. And I think also if I exercised, it's that vicious cycle. If I exercise,
100%.
I definitely would have more energy.
Yeah.
My sleep would be a lot better.
Yeah.
My sleep is shocking at the moment. Absolutely terrible. I just either struggle to get to sleep.
Yeah.
Or fall asleep and then wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and then I'm awake.
Yeah.
And can't go back to sleep.
Yeah.
So my body battery is shocking and my sleep is shocking. I know if I exercised, that would be a lot better. And I know it. I know I should do it.
Yeah.
But I just don't have the energy.
It's that connection. I mean, physical activity, it's well known that it improves mental health. And the more you do. Because I've known it myself. It's like that bit of getting to the gym or getting your running stuff on and getting out the door. Once you're actually out, even if you were to say, I'm only going to go and do 10 minutes, the chances are you'd do your 10 minutes and then you'd say, I'm going to do another 10 minutes, because once you're doing it, that's it. But it's just that bit of that kick up the bum of getting out there. I mean, I would really like to get back into running. I used to do loads of 5 and 10Ks. Me and Jo used to do loads of mud runs, activity, assault course runs. And it was really good fun. And it wasn't about, it wasn't a race, because obviously you were in mud half the time. So, but it was just, it was fun. It was fun. It was cold and horrible sometimes, but it was fun. And, you have that real sense of accomplishment when you finished it. So, I mean, I would like to kind of try and get back into running and actually get back to my amusing Strava run maps. Because I don't know about you, but I used to kind of do similar runs with varying little bits. And, on Strava, it links whatever activity watch you've got, and then it shows you the map of where you've run and all your stats and stuff. And loads of my runs look like a prawn, like the shape of a prawn. But I mean, what about you? Have you got any?
No, mine don't look like prawns.
No,
I tend
something else. Like a croissant.
No, mine are always very
linear,
long,
right?
With the little blobs at the end, where I've just turn around and go back, and
like a barbell.
Almost like a barbell.
Like a barbell.
But the funny thing about where we live is I found that every run I did, it sort of bisected the same direction. So I've got a north to south and an east to west. And that's all my runs were, because it's you get the longest route.
Yeah, sure.
Where you don't have to turn around or do the same laps.
Yeah.
Because I don't like running there's a really nice, in Brightwell, the little village next to us, it's really nice to run round, but there's no paths. So I don't really like to run around there.
Yeah.
So I tend to stick to road running, basically.
Yeah.
Or along the river, but then obviously it's not.
Yeah. And we both always have to finish on an even number.
Oh, yeah, that's what. Oh. Yeah.
The ick of seeing that you've done 10.4 kilometres. No,
who stops?
Add some more steps on.
Who stops there?
It's it has to be a half. You can do 10.5 or you go to 11. But you can't do.
Oh, I could do 10.75. It's got to be it's got to be a. Yeah, I couldn't do 10.78. I could do 10.6, 10.7. It's got to be I couldn't do 6.4. No, nothing like that. No, thank you very much. No. Talking of Strava, that I have phoned you up, didn't I, recently, and said, what activity were you doing the other night? You've got a 5-minute activity at 10 o'clock at night. What's going on with this?
Damn that damn that Strava connection, because you know it like alerts people if you've done stuff, especially if you haven't done anything in a while. So it'll be like, oh, so and so, give someone so and so some kudos because they've done some a run or something.
Yeah.
And so I had and I was like, I don't know what I've done, and I went onto my Strava, which obviously is open to the public.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, 5-minute activity at 10 o'clock last night. I was like, oh, that looks weird. And it was genuinely like on my Garmin, it's like, do you want to do some breathing exercises? You're a bit stressed.
Yeah.
Do you want to do some breathing? And I was like, oh yeah, okay, amazing, fine, thanks. So 5-minute breathing, went off to sleep. And then, that pops up on my Strava looking like something that I don't want people thinking I'm doing.
Yeah, at 10 o'clock at night.
At 10 o'clock at night on a Wednesday.
Yeah. I've started doing trying to start doing some breathing exercises because since I've entered the dreaded perimenopausal phase of life,
right,
my Garmin is often telling me, you've had a very stressful day today.
Yeah.
And I've literally been sat at work on a not particularly on a not particularly I thought of a stressful day.
Yeah.
You've had a demanding day today, even on like a day off when I've just plodded around and done nothing.
Yeah.
I've had a demanding day today. And I'm like, how has my day been demanding? So trying to do a bit of breathing exercises because I feel like now I'm perimenopausal. I need to start lowering my stress levels and just breathing a little bit more.
Definitely.
I'm just trying to get my dosage right on my HRT. It's taking a little bit of a toll at the moment. Yeah, I'm on the maximum dose. Maximum licensed dose.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, what is that? That's what you've worked up from something else, and now you're then just like you need all the drugs.
Yeah. So it might be that my body doesn't absorb it using the method that I'm using. So the patches, maybe my body doesn't absorb it. So I started off putting them on my bum.
Right.
And then I thought, I wonder if my bum's just too fat and it's just not absorbing from the fatty bottom. So I've moved them onto my belly now.
Okay. Where else can you put them?
Well, it has to be like below the waist.
Near your bits, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. So bum, belly, hips.
Yeah.
Hips aren't so great, I think, because it like rubs on your knickers and that. So yeah, I'm trying that at the moment just to see how I get on. But the doctor that I've got is lovely for perimenopause. She's not my regular doctor; it's a lady doctor that I've got, and she's just like brilliant. Like literally, I walked in the first time and I said, "I think I might be perimenopausal."
Yeah.
And she just said, okay, what's going on? Literally gave her about 3 or 4 symptoms. Yeah, it sounds like it to me. Let's put you on HRT. Like literally straight away. I know of people that really, really struggle to get anything from the doctor. Like, no, you're too young. Or, it's not, it's not that. Let's do a blood test when actually blood tests are pretty crappy for that, for detecting menopause.
I think that must make all the difference, actually having a doctor that like listens and takes you seriously and isn't like, because I remember that's a similar kind of endo conversation that I had been having when I was much younger, and going to see the doctor and then just being like, if your periods are heavy, it's just how it is.
It's just life.
That's just life.
Yeah.
Like, kind of just like
you're a girl.
Put up and shut up almost. And then it wasn't until I went to university and I managed to speak to a different doctor, and she was amazing. She was really, really helpful and totally listened to me. So I had a good doctor, had a good like gynae guy, unfortunately called Mr. Fish.
Oh.
I know. The immature person in me did have a chuckle. I was like, okay, that's really unfortunate. But he was amazing. And obviously I was able to get my endo treated, which is really lucky, because the average time for getting diagnosed at the moment is 9 years.
It's ridiculous.
And actually, I read a stat yesterday that said it's something like 970,000 women are waiting for gynecological appointments. And if you lined them all up, I was like, well, this is random, but if you lined them all up, they would go from Exeter to London.
Wow.
And that's people waiting, So actually, I consider myself very, very lucky, because mine was like, 6 years, something like that.
Yeah.
which is long enough.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, because obviously we were very opposite in that respect. Like my periods were like, I'd say easy, not showing off or anything, but like I barely even I'd have like a period for about 3 days of nothing.
Yeah.
And nothing, you know, and they were nondescript nothings, whereas you were the like complete opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And I think now I'm like, my perimenopausal issues are making up for the fact that I had such an easy period journey.
That's your penance. I've got like I've got like mild perimenopause, brain fog. Brain fog. See, that's the oh my god, it's the brain fog.
It's the
brain fog and like night sweats.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, that I can still function, and other than getting very sweaty at night.
Because mine,
and not knowing what I'm saying.
No, because mine is like literally, I've got the worst anxiety. I mean, I've never really had anxiety or anything like that, but it's been horrific.
Yeah.
Anxiety, general overwhelm with life, just feeling like, what the hell is going on? That like the random things, indigestion, ulcers in my mouth, like continually, like my tongue and my mouth are covered in ulcers.
Oh.
It's just the weirdest, like, collection of symptoms.
Yeah.
That just seem to be like never ending.
That is like Mother Nature saying,
yeah,
you got off easy.
Yeah.
You got off easy, Lindsay.
Yeah.
Now you're going to get it.
Yeah. Yeah. But then and again, like, but I think generally my health was very good when I was like younger. I never really, I mean, I had like a bit of tonsillitis when I was younger, recurring, but that's why I've never even, touch wood, broken a bone.
No,
never broken a bone.
No, me neither.
Never broken a bone. As soon as I hit my 40s, it was like literally like the downfall of my health.
Your health.
Completely, yeah. No broken bones between the two of us whatsoever.
I know. I think I might have fractured one once in a toilet door, but
right.
But no broken. Nothing broken.
Yeah.
Nothing broken. I actually saw something on social media about that the other day, like what it means if you haven't broken any bones.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
It means that if you've never broken a bone in your body, your soul has been given its maximum capacity, and so you were given a strong body to hold it. I mean, I think that's probably a bit of rubbish. I think it just means that you were very, very careful, or you have a lot of calcium, a lot of strong bones.
Or your parents never let you do anything that was like...
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I mean, hitting my 40s just like completely sent my health into an absolute spiral.
Yeah, it did a bit, didn't
it? The biggest shocker was like getting my ulcerative colitis diagnosis.
Yeah.
Literally out of the blue. One day I was fine, the next day I was shitting through an eye of a needle for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, that was really scary to see, like as a as a sibling, like because I'm the one that's had the like IBS-y type symptoms since like year dot.
Yeah.
And so to see how that affected you was really scary and really horrible.
Really weird. I mean, like, I literally eat anything.
Yeah.
I thought I had the cast iron stomach of like, cast iron intestines.
Yes.
Nothing could impact me.
Yeah.
And just from literally being absolutely fine and then just having a dodgy stomach, which just didn't go away, going to the doctors and him going, and because actually I went to the doctors because I thought I had piles.
Right, okay.
Because I had a poo and I wiped and there was blood.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I think maybe I've got some piles.
Yeah, which is very common.
Yeah, went to see my male doctor.
Yeah.
Who is lovely.
Yeah.
And is very...
Again, that's very important.
Yes. He's a really good doctor. He will listen to everything and really take on board everything you're saying. He's like, yeah, I think I'm going to have to stick my finger up your bum just to see what's going on, just to see if there's any piles up there. So I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just going to cut in and say it is really important to talk about this because I think, this kind of thing happens to lots of people and people are too embarrassed to talk to either like family or friends or most importantly going to see the doctor. So it could have been a lot worse if you hadn't been able to go to your doctor, and it would have been a lot worse if you hadn't been able to go to him when you did and say I've got these issues.
Too embarrassed
absolutely. And you hear about it a lot, people who have left it a long time before going to see someone, and then obviously conditions get really worse. So we really shouldn't be afraid of talking about poo or fingers up the bum or anything really.
Fingers up the bum in a medical
way.
capacity.
Yeah, clarify.
Yeah.
Or I guess anything really that doesn't feel right, because we know our bodies.
Yeah.
Like, we know when things aren't right, and I think we need to trust those instincts and actually be confident enough to talk to other people and also make those appointments and go and see doctors.
And I will also say, advocate for yourself. If you know that something isn't right, you've got to.
And if you've got a crappy doctor, ask to see somebody different.
You've got to stand up for yourself and say, this isn't right. I do know my body. I know you might be a doctor, but I know what is going on here. Again, like, luckily, he is a great doctor, and he said it's not piles.
Yeah.
And got me referred, like, literally straight away to the inflammatory bowel disease clinic.
Yeah.
Which I think again, the appointment for that came in within like a couple of days.
Because when was it?
This was in 2010.
2010. Yeah.
So I'd been at my sister-in-law's Easter, and we were driving home.
Yeah.
And Piers was like, "Oh, we'll just pop into B&Q or something like that." And we were sat in the car park, and I was like, "Oh, I need to poo." And I was just like, hurry up.
Yeah.
Got home, obviously had a bad stomach.
Yeah.
Anyway, that lasted for a couple of weeks. Went to see the doctor. He referred me.
Yeah.
I think I got a letter through for the appointment to the clinic, and it was within 4 weeks or something.
Yeah.
It was really soon.
Yeah.
But my condition within that 4 weeks got so bad so quickly.
Yeah.
That I went to like an out of hours, and then they referred me up to the hospital.
Yeah.
And they kept me in.
I mean,
because it was so bad.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think that basically just a dodgy tummy.
Yeah.
In the space of a month.
Yeah.
Can be so serious that you're admitted into hospital.
Yeah. So that was and that was a bit weird. Yeah, being admitted, like being so poorly actually then, even though I didn't feel it, I just knew that it had been carrying on for such a long time.
Yeah.
Being admitted, and then actually I was like literally diagnosed instantly in there again, which is really good. It's been about a month.
Yeah.
And I know between April, when I started to get ill, and then the July, I was probably admitted into hospital 2 or 3 times in that period where it was really bad.
Loads of weight as well.
Lost loads of weight. I think basically they would just put me on so much different medication, and none of it was working.
Yeah.
Steroids, all this kind of stuff, and literally none of it was working.
Yeah.
I got to a point where they had me on these injections. Was it injections or was it tablets? I can't remember now. One of the two. And that made me so sick. And I remember it was Alfie's birthday, and I was so poorly, and I made him this birthday cake. But I was feeling so ill.
Yeah.
But made him this birthday cake, and it literally, you can tell that I wasn't very well.
Oh,
I looked at it. It was Buzz Lightyear, and his face literally looked like he'd been melted.
I remember
because I was so poorly trying to ice this cake.
I remember,
and I just look at this cake, and then so that was his birthday was in the August. They then put me on like these infusions.
Okay.
Where I had to go and sit. I think you came up with me once.
Yeah.
That was over like the winter period. I had to sit and have like an infusion. It was a bit like a chemotherapy type thing.
Yeah.
Sit on a drip for like 6 hours. And then even though those didn't work, and then got to the January. So bearing in mind this was April 2010.
Yeah.
I'd started to feel poorly.
Yeah.
January 2011 they wanted me to go in for a colonoscopy. And I remember laying on the bed, and this guy was just chatting away, really nice. I think he was Australian or something, doctor. We were just chatting, oh, what do you do? Blah, 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 just chatting. And then he was like, oh, I was like, okay. And he's like, you're really very poorly, aren't you? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, I think you need to stay in now. And I was like, yes, please. I literally said, yes, please.
Yeah.
Keep me in hospital.
Which obviously is extreme, because you've got Piers at home, you've got 2 kids, but to be in that position where you know in yourself that you need to be in hospital.
Yeah, I thought, actually I literally can't. carry on now. I'm just so bad.
Yeah.
And then that was it. They were like, we're going to have to whip your intestines out, love. Get rid of them.
Yeah.
Get rid of them rotten intestines.
Get rid of those crappy buggers.
That was, that was weird. Like being in hospital, and I remember them coming around and saying they need to come out.
Mm.
And Dad was there, and I was like, no, not having it done.
Oh.
Don't want it done.
Oh gosh.
Don't want it.
Yeah.
And he was like, why not? And I was like, well, because if I have it done, I won't be able to go clubbing ever again, will I?
Oh, okay.
And then the doctor's like, yes, you will.
Yeah. And also,
yeah,
really want to go clubbing anyway.
Yeah, of course I do. But it was just the weirdest thing. Like I was like, I don't want this. I don't want this. I know I have to have it done.
Yeah.
But I don't want it done.
Yeah.
And it ultimately was the best decision I've ever made, because I've run 2 half marathons since. I've had a baby.
Yeah. And you're healthy. Like
well, I'm more than healthy.
You're very very healthy. And obviously people know about this, but do you talk about what happened or what's going on? I mean, I guess did you tell people? Because I mean, you wouldn't have. It's not the kind of thing that you just like come out with, is it? So
no.
So I suppose, but again, one of those things like you've got, like, there's nothing to be embarrassed about, but there's a lot of stigma around it. So how do you feel telling people?
Well, I mean, I don't. Obviously, all my close friends and the close friends I had at that time knew what was going on, and I was very open with them in telling them what had happened.
Yeah.
But whilst I don't openly tell people, because it's not the sort of thing you can't just. Oh, by the way, I've got a stoma.
Yeah,
which essentially means the poo comes out of my belly into a bag.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
How do you just drop that into a conversation with somebody?
No,
you can't. So I share a lot of stuff on social media around that, and I probably say stuff on social media.
Yeah.
So people probably do know, but it's just not something. I mean, I don't. Well, I know nobody at work knows. I've been there 10 years.
Yeah.
Nobody at work knows about it.
Right. Okay.
Which makes things really difficult. Like, so obviously this is a bit of a graphic. I'm going to be a little graphic now. Obviously, I have this stoma, which effectively means my bowel comes out of my stomach when I need to go for a poo.
Yeah.
Well, when I need to, it's literally constantly working. There's it's not like when you have your intestines and it stop. Your intestines naturally stop you from going, and then when they're full, they let you know.
Yeah.
When you've got a stoma, you don't have that stop mechanism. So you eat, and effectively it just is. It's not coming out all the time.
No,
but it's regularly. So obviously it has to be emptied quite regularly.
Yeah.
And I can't do it at work.
Yeah.
For one thing, we've got one tiny little toilet.
Yeah. And
I
think most people wouldn't even want to have, if you were having a poo normally, you wouldn't want to do that.
No. And obviously it smells. And I think it smells worse than poo. I know that's really gruff. I'm sorry, people. It smells like poo. But I think because...
Well, it doesn't go through the same processes.
It doesn't go through the same processes.
Yeah,
no,
it's
it's
different.
Not a solid poo that comes out.
Yeah,
and I don't know if this is impact. So because I don't have that large intestine, I also don't retain water, so I have to drink a lot more.
Yeah,
and I have to take a lot more salt in because I don't get salt.
Yeah,
essentially the part of my intestines that's gone is the part that sucks out all the nutrients.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't have that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think that impacts the processing and So I really haven't told anybody what it works. So obviously I have to be really not careful. I'm like really conscious about what I wear to work.
Right.
Like I wear lots of baggy jumpers because when my bag gets full, obviously it's big. My tummy's quite fat anyway, but it just makes so it's 10 years. Yeah, I've been there and nobody knows.
I can only imagine now, like if it were to come up in conversation now, which I guess it hasn't done it, it wouldn't do, and they were like, "Oh, when was that?" and you were like, "Oh, it was 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago."
I mean, I have said I have like bowel issues.
Now it's been too long.
Yes. Yeah.
It's been too long now.
Oh yeah, I've got that. And they'd be like, "Well, why didn't you tell me 10 years ago?"
Yeah.
Well, how would I bring that up?
Yeah. I mean,
I just say that.
I mean, if anyone is listening that you work with, they obviously do now know. So, you know.
Yeah.
That's why. That's why people.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, God, I think me saying about this all starting in my 40s, since I've been diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, obviously I now have the full spectrum of autoimmune diseases that are linked.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. So they say if you have ulcerative colitis, you can also get rheumatoid arthritis. And I know a few people who have got both now.
Yeah.
One has led to the other.
Yeah.
I've got a bloody liver thing,
Yeah.
an autoimmune thing with my liver.
Yeah. I actually, before I came here today, had seen on Instagram, there's a guy, I don't know what you'd call him. He's a writer, but he's maybe like a psychologist or something. His name's Gabor. It's spelt mate, but it's got an accent, so it might be
Martin.
Mate. Yeah, Gabor.
Yeah.
And he was talking to, I want to say Fern,
yeah,
but it might be somebody else.
Yeah.
And he basically said that 80% of autoimmune disease occurs in women.
Oh wow.
And he had an interesting like reason for it, but it's to do with that thing. I mean, I won't go into a lot of detail about it here, but it's to do with you know, how your inner emotions can affect your body. And so you should read what it says, because his thing is basically like, it's because women are predominantly taking on a protective role, and they consider other people's feelings and other people's emotions ahead of their own. And there were like 4 things that he said about, and that basically manifests as an autoimmune diseases and that's why it's so prevalent in women. So very, very interesting. Not something for us to get into now, but like an interesting concept, I think, of how disease happens. I mean,
sorry, carry on.
I guess though, we are destined to go through this path a little bit of the kind of like autoimmune disease. I mean, I've been very lucky. I don't have any arthritis symptoms apart from like an achy thumb.
Yeah. I mean, generally, other than your endometriosis, your health is good, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty good.
And considering
good.
you've hit your 40s, it's not. In decline, is it? You did have that. I mean, when you were a bit younger, you had that really horrific reaction, didn't you?
God, I did. Yeah,
and that's like a medical. It's not just like you ate a strawberry and it made you pop up.
No, like it's medical. It's an allergic reaction to a medication. So I'd had like a couple of, I don't know, like a week or so where I was just being sick all the time for like no reason. And so I got put on like an anti-sickness medication, which is like a really normal anti-sickness medication. Or it was either anti-sickness or anti-nausea, one of the two. And it was when I was waitressing on a Saturday. And so I'd started the medication, and I think I had to go back to the doctors for something. And I remember walking to the doctors, and one of my feet was like really funny. I kept like going over on my ankle, and I was like, I kind of just ignored it. I was like, well, this is a bit weird, but never mind. And I got to work, and over the course of the morning, lots of different muscles in my body started going into spasm. So my foot, I couldn't walk on my foot, and literally by 12 o'clock, and the muscle in my neck had gone into spasm. So my head was pulled right back, and I couldn't physically pull it forward. So obviously at that point, everyone was getting a bit worried because I looked like something out of a horror film.
Oh, you were going to drop their hot chocolate on the floor.
Well, yeah, that too. And I ended up going to A&E, basically. I think Dad came and picked me up and went to the surgery, and they were like, no, you need to go to A&E. And he drove at like, the only time I've ever known of a dad to speed in the car. And he was literally driving at about 90 miles an hour to the JR. And it was an allergic reaction. So I had a drip and they cleared it all out and stuff. But now, obviously, anytime they're like, I have to write that on the form. I have to remember what the medication is and how to spell it and put it on some forms and stuff, and be really careful. Like I would never be able to have any that specific anti-sickness one again.
Because also you had a little bit of a horror when you came back off holiday recently.
Jesus,
did you have to say that?
Yes.
Then would they have given you that medication?
Well, so I had this amazing holiday to Bali. day before we were coming back, I was like, oh, I've got a bit of a sore throat, scratchy throat. But we'd been like staying where there was lots of air conditioning. We'd obviously been partying quite hard, not getting a lot of sleep. And then as the day went on, I thought, no, this isn't right. This feels like the dreaded sea.
Yeah.
And I wore a mask on the flight, and then as soon as I got home, I did a COVID test, and lo and behold, I had COVID. And then that progressed into a very, very poorly tummy, which ended up with me being in A&E and being kept in overnight with salmonella, turns out. But with that, I luckily wasn't sick.
Yeah. I
only had tummy, really, really, really bad tummy troubles. So they didn't have to give me any anti-sickness medication. But anytime I go anywhere and they and I have to give any medical stuff, I have to say, I've got this allergic reaction.
Yeah.
But I mean, my experience of the NHS has always been really, really good. For those incidents.
Yeah, I think we're really lucky here, actually, where we live. I think
postcode lottery.
Yeah, absolutely.
NHS postcode lottery.
Yeah, definitely. We're so lucky here.
Yeah,
like even when I had my operation, like in 2020.
Yeah,
that was a non-emergency operation.
Yeah,
which had been scheduled for before COVID, and then it got put off for some reason. I can't remember why I'd put it off.
Yeah.
And they'd sort of forgotten to add me back onto the list again.
Right, yeah.
And then, so like 2020, so they just did it, whilst it wasn't necessarily routine, it was something I had to have 10 years after I had my stoma put in.
Yeah. So it wasn't urgent. It wasn't urgent, but it needed to be done.
It was slightly time, I mean, not massively time constrained, but they did that in like during COVID times as a non-emergency operation. So I think we are very lucky here, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I actually today I went for so I had a text message in the summer saying because you're now at this certain age, you are invited for this NHS health check. And I was like, oh no, I'm not going to bother with that. And then obviously I've had a bit of time off, and I'm just kind of thinking, oh, do you know what? Actually, it's being offered. I'll make the most of it.
Yeah.
So I booked that in. I had that this morning, and I had to fill in. I didn't really know what it was for, but they asked you to fill in a questionnaire before you go. So it's kind of like basics, height, weight. If you know your blood pressure. Put that in, which I do because I've got a little blood pressure monitor that I use at home. So I'd filled in all that, and then it was some questions about, luckily not about diet, because that would have been terrible, because my diet is terrible. But it was kind of like, how much exercise do you do? Not very much. You know, what do you do for, whether you're working and you're sedentary or active or whatever like that? How much do you drink?
Did you lie? What did you tell
I tried to be honest.
I never know how much I drink, though.
Yeah, and it's kind of tricky because I might have like, a week where I don't have anything to drink, and then I might go out 3 times and drink loads. Yeah. So I tried to be, to be honest.
That's when I say I don't know how much I drink. It's not because I drink too much, but the same. Like I could go 2-3 weeks without having a drink, go out one night on a weekend, and have probably more than I should have. Yeah. But then when they say how many units do you have per week, well, generally none. Sometimes 20.
Exactly.
Average it out.
Exactly. So there was that. And then what else did they ask about? Smoking. So it was like drinking, smoking, exercise. So I got in today, and she was lovely. The nurse was lovely. So she said, "Oh, we'll go through your questionnaire." So you get like a booklet basically. So they put in your details, and the idea of the check is that they give you at the end of it a Q score.
Right.
Which is a percentage, and it's the percentage, the likelihood of you having a cardiovascular event in the next 10 years.
Right.
So obviously, the lower the better. But these are all risk factors, like do you smoke, how much do you drink, whether you're not getting very much exercise. And so she kind of went through, and she asked some more detail about the alcohol questions, because I think I'd basically answered in 2 contradictory ways. Right. One was like a weekly thing, and then one was like a monthly thing. Yeah. And I think I'd basically said I drank more per month than I did per week. So it didn't make any sense. And I had to be like, can you
more than you did per week than you did per month, maybe?
Yes, sorry. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So she went through that in more detail and corrected my, incorrect whatever. And then with the alcohol ones, she said, I've got to ask some a bit more detailed questions. So it was kind of like, have you in the last year, have you ever felt embarrassed after drinking? I did lie. I said no, but like
it doesn't feel embarrassed.
I know. I was like, oh yeah, I sent that really stupid text. That doesn't count. Yeah. And then it was like, have you ever had friends or family or a doctor say that they're worried about you drinking? So I was like, no. And yeah, so there was that. And so in the end, then she took some blood.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they do cholesterol.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I've actually never ever had my cholesterol done.
Yeah.
So she took some blood.
Do they not do a pinprick thing for that cholesterol?
No, she took way too much to just do a cholesterol test, I'm sure. She could have done loads of other. They could do loads of other. I'm surprised they don't do like blood glucose or something. But anyway, and I did that thing of like, oh, I've got to look away because I feel like sick, whilst rolling up my arm and having like a million tattoos. So then she was like, oh no, can't find any veins in that arm. Anyway, but she eventually found some on the other arm, and she was amazing. She went in really quickly and took it all. And so she gave me like an initial percentage, which was 1%, which was very good. Yeah. And then in a couple of weeks' time, they'll have got the cholesterol and they do like a revised score. So it's kind of like, and then the booklet tells you like tips. So most one is like stop drinking as much, even though, which is weird because I don't think I drink very much. But
yeah, that's like a thing, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
I don't think I drink too much at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was good.
So yeah.
Well done.
So watch this space.
So you know what though?
What?
As you performed well in your health check, you deserve a drink.
It's Friday, isn't it? It's in fact it's 2:00. It's wine o'clock.
It is. It's 11 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, let's go and have a little drink then.
Let's go and celebrate.
Well, not really, because I'm going to pick up Nelly from school.
Well, I'll have a drink for you. I'll have a drink for both of us.
Let's do it. Yeah. Right.
Cool. Yeah. Bye.